my wedding flower. I've made 3 so far in a series of the flowers that I am making for my wedding backdrop. This one doesn't particularly have a name. I make it with template number 5, and so I'll just call this my template number 5 flower. The great thing about this template is, or with any template that I have, is that this shape is so versatile that you can make a number of different looking flowers with this one template. I'll show you, these are the petals, and so you can imagine that there are a lot of different looks you can get. This is just the one that I wanted for this flower to include in my wedding backdrop. So to start, you need 10, or what I use is I had 10 of these larger petals and then 10 of these smaller petals. And then I have a fringe that's cut with one side sort of cut free, and then another where the sides are intact, and this is what I'll use to make the flower center, but I'll put those to the side for now. With this flower, it's a little bit cumbersome to make. With some of my previous videos, they've been fairly easy to make because they all are glued to a hexagonal base. This one actually has no base, and it's a little bit, as I said, cumbersome to make, but it's not difficult by any means. But what I want to do is, with my bone folder, I want to just curl the edges of the flower, or the sides. I'm just smoothing it a little bit. This is not a necessary step, but I find that it makes it easier for gluing, because essentially what I'll be doing is I'll be gluing the sides together. And with this particular cardstock that I'm using, I purchased it from Michael's. It's shimmery, and so I like that with the shimmer, when I glue the petals side by side like this and then add 2 layers, there's dimension to the flower. I did try gluing them simply flat on top of each other. It does not give nearly the same effect, so I went with this with my wedding backdrop. So it's simply just curling the edges a little bit so that it's easier to glue them side by side. So I want to do that for all 10 petals. And if you don't have a bone folder, you can always just use a glue stick or something rod shaped like a pen or pencil. Alright, so I'll put this away. And you have your 2 piles, 10 petals each. You're starting with a larger petal. Start gluing. So I will just add a little bit of glue to the side. And then I will pair the sides together and just hold. I want to line them up quite evenly. And I want to do that for all of the petals. get to the last petal, you just want to glue the side to the very first petal that you started with. So it will pucker up like this, and that's fine because later on you can glue a circle base to the back, and also this top layer will help keep it down. But this is what it'll look like for now. What you can do is press down on the areas and where they're glued together to help it keep it down just a little bit. But it's normal for it to pucker up just a little. So I'm going to set this aside. And you'll do the same thing with these petals by gluing them to the side. Alright, so you can do the same thing where you press down at the joints. Okay, so now that you have both pieces together, what I want to do is put this smaller layer on top of this larger layer, and I want the petals, the smaller petals, to go in between the big petals. And what I'll do is, this part's a little tricky only because it's not as smooth. What I like to do is I add glue to a couple of these petals here in the middle, and then I put this top layer over it, and then I'll glue the rest of the petals. It's not perfect. It doesn't always line up as perfectly as it could. And that's what I meant by it being a little cumbersome. But it works. So I want these petals to go right in the middle. And what I'll do is I just want to make sure that that middle where two petals joined is approximately in the middle of the smaller petal. And I'm going to let the glue dry just a little bit. You just lift up to see where you haven't glued, or even if some glue has come off. So just add a line of glue. And I just have one more. So I'm going to glue that really quickly so I don't lift up any of the previous petals. Glue from the previous petals. So I'm going to let that set for a minute and not pick it up. Alright, you can see that it's pretty much held together. You may have to touch up some parts where it didn't quite stick, but for the most part, it should hold up. You do not need a lot of glue for this one. And I'm going to go ahead and make the center. I'm going to set this aside here. So the center is actually two pieces, and there's this inner part and then a sort of fringe. So I have the two pieces. I cut this out with my Silhouette Cameo. It's a little dangerous because part of it cut too close to the edge. But what I want to do is I have a approximately 5-inch cut and a 4-inch cut. This one has sides, this one only has one side. This one's sort of fringe, like I said. So for this one, all I want to do is add glue to one side. And fold it over. Like that, and then I want to sort of loosen up the bottom where the two pieces were glued together, because it becomes a little rigid with the glue in there, and this helps, again, loosen it up. All I want to do is just roll this. So I'll add a little bit of glue here, and then start rolling. Add a little bit of glue halfway. I think I need to roll it just a little bit tighter. Add glue to the end. Alright, and I'll put that there for now. And with this fringe, it's really easy. What I want to do is I just want to curl it. Give it a curl. I'm trying not to rip it, so I'm trying to be a little gentle with this. I'm just going to take this apart. I'm going to glue it all together around this piece anyway, and what I was doing is I was worried about whether it would come off. It's okay if it comes off, because it's all going to get glued on anyway. Right. So what I want to do is I want to wrap this fringe over this center. So I'm going to add some glue and have it start here. I just burned myself. So just a little bit of glue to start, and then you just start wrapping it around. I'm gonna put down a little bit more glue and just keep going. And be careful on this set because it really hurts when the glue oozes out. Centers are my least favorite thing to make for that very reason. And I want the rest of this. A little bit of glue. And then one more bit of glue to finish up. Okay, so this will essentially just go right in the middle. Well, I just have a small circle, and what I want to do is I want to glue it to the back. Of this flower. And then I want to glue this to the center.